understand. It is so complicated and valuable. It is not possible for us to even imagine this. It is also invisible. If we get into the history of our kings who ruled our country, we come to know about many truths. In proof of their rule, they have constructed temples and mosques. If we look at these monuments, we can remember them. For example, the fort that was constructed by Akbar in Fatehpur Sikri, Taj Mahal, which stands as a symbol of love between Mumtaz and Shah Jahan, and the Gol Gumbaz are some of them. However, we also know that many Hindu kings have sacrificed themselves while defending our country. But we don't have detailed information about such kings. It is very unfortunate. It does not mean that we are not patriotic. All of us love our country, but we do not have the patience and time to know about our history. All of us live in continuous stress. To enlighten us about patriotism and its need, Sri Agumbe Nataraj has spent sleepless nights to compile information about the great patriot princes of Sindh province and their valor. Sri Nataraj is a creative writer and historian who has authored a book on this aspect. Let us listen to him now. Good morning, sir. We wish to congratulate you at the outset for your effort and achievement.
While working in Delhi, I came across two books. The names of the books are Ain-i-Akbari and Tabaqat-i-Nasiri. While reading those two books, I came across a very important historical event. Raja Dahir had employed in his army an Arab general who was a follower of Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law, that is Ali. He had escaped from the clutches of this caliph, and he had come and took refuge in Raja Dahir's army. So Raja Dahir, he expected this fellow's help when Muhammad bin Qasim came and invaded. But this fellow, instead of helping Raja Dahir, he became neutral because he never wanted to fight against his own Islamic army. That is, Caliph, after all, he was a Muslim, so he never wanted to wage war or help his Islamic army. So he became neutral, and that is a great handicap for Raja Dahir because he expected help from him and he didn't get it, and ultimately he was defeated in the battle, and Raja Dahir was killed, and his wife was also killed, and his two princesses, his two children, they were taken captive and they were sent to Damascus.
Battles have started between kings. Such struggles have started long ago and haven't come to an end even now. Did King Dahir die in the battle, or did anyone kill him? Oh, so you mean in 711 AD, Khalif Walid issued an order to his son-in-law Muhammad bin Qasim to conduct military operations on Dahir? So Qasim camps on the bank of river Sindhu along with his military force for waging a war, and then Dahir prepares himself to face the attack of Qasim by camping with his force on the east side of Sindh river. Oh, then Qasim crosses the river and wages war on Dahir. In this serious battle, Bont Aladi, the trusty lieutenant of Dahir, remains neutral without helping Dahir. Is it because Aladi has entered into an agreement with Khalifa with the idea that being a Muslim he should not fight Khalifa? And as a result of this betrayal, Dahir gets killed. Qasim runs away with Dahir's daughters and looting his wealth. Dahir's wife, Jodha Devi, commits suicide after looking at these incidents. It means Dahir was killed in the deceit and all his wealth and two daughters were taken away. Sir, then what happened to these two daughters?
The princesses, that is Raja Dahir's two children, were sent to Damascus, and when the Caliph, when he saw the princesses, he was taken aback because they were very, very, very beautiful. And he thought that princesses should join his harem. When these princesses heard that this fellow is interested in taking them to the harem, they took out a plan. They made a plan. They said that we are not fit to join your harem because already your son-in-law, that is Muhammad bin Qasim, has dishonored her. And he has, for nearly 3 days, he has used us. And instead of sending a better gift, he has sent us which we feel is not suitable. After hearing these words, that fellow became so furious, he gave an order that he should be captured, he should be brought alive. He was brought in a box, and when the box came to his presence, he lifted the lid, he called the princesses, and he showed the princesses, see what happened to the man who has spoiled you. Poor Qasim, he was already dead. When these princesses saw the dead body of the Qasim, they laughed, they smiled, they said, he is not responsible for this condition because he never spoiled us, and he was a nice man, he never used us, and he treated us nicely. When the Caliph heard this, he became so furious. He said, why did you do this? Why? What made you to do this? And they replied smilingly, laughingly. He said, we wanted to take revenge because he killed my father. He destroyed our nation, destroyed the property, looted the property, and he captured us. We lost our mother also. So we wanted to take revenge. That is why we told lies. After hearing this fellow became still more furious. He ordered that those princesses should be entombed alive. She called the laborers and they were entombed. The princesses died. Laughingly they died, smilingly they died. This shows that they were more interested in keeping the honor of the country, honor of their parents, honor of their culture, and they became great patriots. And this, I think, is the greatest lesson we Indians should learn from those princesses who gave, really they became martyrs.
The two princes, Surya Devi and Pramila Devi, who were captured by Qasim, were so beautiful that they get attracted towards them. He decides to give these two princes as a gift to his father-in-law Khalid. He sends them along with his soldiers to the city of Damascus. The soldiers present the princess in front of Khalid Walid. Even Walid gets attracted by the beauty of the princess and orders them to be sent to the Janana. The princess informed Khalif Muhammad Qasim kept them in the Janana and spoiled their virginity. Listening to this, Khalif gets enraged and orders Qasim's body to be covered with cow skin and to be brought in front of him. Accordingly, Qasim was brought covered by cow skin, but he had died due to suffocation. When his body was shown to Khalifa, he tells the princess, "Look at the fate of this person who spoiled your virginity." The princess said with a smile, "He never spoiled us. We told you a lie. He had killed our father and looted our wealth. We told you this because we wanted revenge on him." Khalifa becomes angry and immediately orders for constructing a wall around the two princes so as to bury them alive. The princess accepts the burial with a smile. This story that occurred 1300 years ago is a true incident. It has been mentioned in the Arabian by Chachnama. Later, it has been translated into Persian and Hindi languages. A brief history of this incident has been documented by a historian of Akbar's times by the name Al-Badani and Aine-e-Akbari. The two daughters of Dahir were fearless. Even when they knew that their life was at risk, they took revenge on Qasim. Their valor and courage highlights their patriotism. It highlights national pride and promotes nationalism in everyone. However, it is unfortunate that the historic incident has not been documented in any of our history books.